welcome to Pre-Match Focus with your host, me, Tim.
And me, Lee. God, we've had a nightmare trying to get onto this show today.
Oh, man, it's been one of them days. It actually has. I'm going to sound old again, and also I'm not crying at the fact that Wolves have just disappointed me, although it was worth crying about. But I've got some shit in my eye today at work. Not literal shit, but dust. And
I've had shit in my eyes after watching that game.
Oh man, it must be so frustrating because as a United fan right now, I'm well frustrated.
I mean,
cheers, guys.
I think we've overtaken Spurs as Arsenal's biggest rivals. I think they absolutely hate us at the moment, don't they? But they love beating us. Jesus Christ!
I tell you what, I had everything. That the Jimenez thing on the sideline, that was nuts. Like, what was that all about?
I do wonder whether it was a tactic by us, a new tactic by us to try and waste some time. But we're not very good at it. Every time we try to
waste time for 20 minutes. It's that new tactic. We'll settle for this, lads. 72 minutes on clock. There's going to be about 10 minutes injury time. You'll be right.
I hate it. I mean, we're not very good at doing it, so it makes it even worse for me to watch. You know, it always bites us on the arse.
Yeah, well, the problem is, it's like you look at it, and Wolves have obviously Bar City, I think, Bar City in it. They've got the best defence in the league, haven't you? So, but you can't sit on that forever. And the thing is, you can't. There's no team in the Premiership, even Burnley at the minute. You know, you couldn't hold on for 20 minutes and play for a draw like that. You can't do that. I was really surprised by Wolves. And then I seen this real small bit of urgency. Like, you know, this small bit of urgency all of a sudden, like after Arsenal had scored. The first goal, that is.
That's the most annoying thing. You try and come back after holding on for so long. You think, why don't you just do that throughout the game? Just try and put it in your head if it's 0-0 or something, you need to win that game.
Exactly.
And it frustrates the life out of me because the more you sit back against teams like that, you're just going to get punished, and it's proving it again there. And you're never going to get your Champions League places with performances like that.
Neto's going to take a few games to get up to speed a bit, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. Him and Johnny will. You know, they've been out serious.
What? I completely forgot about him. And I'm like, Johnny?
I was actually thinking, because I've never seen the substitutes bench before. I was late getting onto the game, and then when Semedo pulled his hamstring, I was like, who's going to come on at right? But I was thinking, Toti Gomez, he's left-footed centre-half. Who's going to go there? Half our right-backs are out on loan or been sold. And then Johnny turns up. Even I forgot about him.
He's been out a while, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's lucky to come back at all, to be honest with you. Probably in the same remark as Jimenez said, to be lucky to come back and play because he's done both his ACLs, hasn't he? He's just it's not been a nice injury, and even Neto's injury was pretty bad. Like pretty much fracturing your kneecap is. Yeah, it's not good at all.
Terrible.
But I think
you can tell a little bit. You just the match fitness wasn't quite there. His sharpness, which he had before, wasn't there. You know, like overrunning things slightly and, you know, just taking that little bit too much of a touch where he'd have skinned people like last season, you know.
He did it quite well against Leicester when they've come on, but it was a very brief cameo. I suppose I wanted a little bit more out of him here in a high-intensity game, so a lot of pressure on it.
Well, that should have been a corner today because that were going in as well by Neto as well.
I know, yeah.
I'm amazed they didn't see that. What's VAR actually for these days? They give absolutely nonsense decisions, and then when there's something like that, they don't use it.
I don't know. I've never liked it. Maybe call us old-fashioned on it. We would just like to have that debate of what the officials do in the game, but I'll never be on the side of it, whatever they do with it.
Take us back in it, Leroy.
I know. Well, it is slowly killing the game, and almost results are becoming more predictable now. It's almost like they are trying to help out the big boys as well in that sense. But I mean, it hasn't really gone in Arsenal's favour today with that, I don't think. But it's just, I don't know, just Yeah, I just don't like it. I'll never will like it. Technology ruins a lot of things, even though it's probably benefited a lot of people. Just it wrecks a lot of things as well. So
It's definitely spoiled a lot of things. I ain't gonna lie. Right. Well, anyway, we got to rattle through this this show this week because we've got short editing time. We had to wait till after obviously the Wolves game to do this, which is, as you guessed, Thursday night at 10:20, if you want to be precise. And this will be going out tomorrow night, Friday. So ready at 7 o'clock, ready for an 8 o'clock kickoff for Southampton Norwich. So if you do want to check our tips and score predictions, you'll still have an hour to get your bets in. So bet responsibly, people. So anyway, right, Friday the 25th of February then. So 8 o'clock kickoff, which is Southampton at home at St Mary's to Norwich.
yeah, well, a lot of people will probably be thinking Southampton win because of they're in pretty good form, aren't they? You know, they're picking up points against big teams, and you know, a lot of draws have come their way as well. I actually think that this could end up a draw itself because of Norwich. Pretty much, you know, these teams you'll see for a lot more of a stronger hold on in games now. They won't be as, you know, dreadful as you think, like 4-3, 4-5-0 batterings or anything like that. So I think they'll put up a fight here. Norwich are going to have to every game if they want to survive now. There's teams down there picking up the points like Burnley and that. So everyone seems to be picking up a little bit now, don't they?
It's funny, isn't it? All of a sudden, they're all picking up points at the bottom.
Watford aside, like we said a few weeks ago, probably be boys' swan song, won't it? So I think they're looking too far on the past Watford with these appointments, but they're thinking that Ranieri and Hodgson will save them. It just don't work like that. So
Yeah, it's shambly running it. It's great. And the thing is, you're never going to get any kind of consistency. The players must think, what the hell's going on? You know, just start getting used to a system and then someone else comes in. And then they start getting used to that system and someone else comes in. It's like, it's too much. We've had this discussion before anyway, but the problem is, unfortunately, I think down there, they've really just got to play their hearts out because some of the other teams, I'll tell you who are in danger now, for me.
Leeds.
Definitely Leeds, but Brentford.
Yeah, they get mentioned. And I did say, you know, they're going that slippery slope and they've got to learn that.
You definitely did.
I think you might see a little bit the Huddersfield of them this year, that they might just go by the skin of the teeth this year. And then next year might be real struggling unless they don't invest properly. We'll see what Ericsson does, whether he's up to scratch with things, but he's going to have a lot on his plate.
I'll go off. I'll make my decision on Brentford after Saturday.
Yeah, if they can get something out of that game. Well, we'll see what they're all about because Newcastle are going to be up for it.
Oh yeah,
good form themselves. So.
Oh yeah, they're going to be right up for it, and it'll be a different. It were a 2-2 draw last time round, weren't it? At St James's Park, and obviously Newcastle weren't really firing really then. So should be interesting this time, definitely. But anyway, back to our game. The game Southampton and Norwich.
Yeah, like I say, I think Norwich. I've gone for 1-1 for this one because I think Norwich should. I think it's the away form more than anything. That's actually been better as well. I think they've.
Them a bit.
Yeah, I think it started off at Molineux in the FA Cup. I think they're seen that as a bit of a free hit to try something new, to try and pick a bit of confidence and find a way of picking up. Well, obviously it would be a win in the FA Cup, but points away from home in the Premier League, and they haven't really looked back since then. I think they had Liverpool, didn't they? I think that's the only defeat they've had away in the last since then, and that's probably just a given, I suppose. So, but yeah, I think they'll be well up for this one. They all have to be down there now if they want to survive. Southampton are draw specialists, so that's why I feel like they if Norwich maybe score first, might be holding on a bit and maybe see a Southampton goal come through. That's my forecast of it anyway.
I think if it was Norwich versus Southampton, I could foresee a draw. But because it's Southampton versus Norwich, I think Southampton will just edge it. 2-1 I've gone.
If you go with that and get it, then it'll bring in my tip, which is just a simple both teams to score.
Happy days. Everyone's a winner, baby. Right, so you've gone with 1-1 and both teams to score. Okay, right. So Saturday, 26th February, early kickoff. We've got 12:30, which is Leeds at Ellen Road at home to Antonio Conte's Tottenham Hotspur.
Will it be Antonio Conte's Tottenham Hotspur before or after this game? It just, I think we mentioned it last, but I think since his second week in charge, does he really want to be there?
Probably want to be there from beginning.
I know. It's seeming more likely to me that if United don't go for Pochettino, that it could be Conte in the summer.
I did think it today. I did think it, but the problem is, you know what? Do you know what makes me think though? I've got this little thing in my head. Unfortunately, he's the last person on my list, but Pochettino, I think he always comes back in. He's always been talked about constantly. Pochettino. Unless he goes to Real Madrid, which, who knows, they're obviously touting him maybe. But unless he goes to Real Madrid, he's going to be United's manager. And they're probably going to give him that marquee signing, which they do to all new managers. Bar Rangnick, of course. And,
well, I think they've just seen him as a stop-start to the end of the season, haven't they? But
yeah. But they're going to go for Harry Kane.
It'd be interesting. I mean, I think they'll probably have to get the Champions League for that season. He's going to be about 29 by this time next season, isn't he? But
46.
Well, they keep themselves in good shape these days. You never know. Yeah, I think they're going to have to get the Champions League because he'll want that. I think obviously City will be the one, but he's keeping his eye on, I suppose. But
yeah, I reckon.
Like you mentioned last week, he pulled in his performance against them.
Yeah, he definitely put his audition in, didn't he? So,
saying like, I'm here, come for me in the summer type thing.
I think they will, to be honest. It's probably persuaded him. I think if he definitely, and he's scoring again, isn't he? So he'll score goals to the end of the season. No doubt about that. And then see what happens in an England shirt, and then
yeah.
Do you know what? That's the good thing about this season. We're going straight into some more madness. So
never ending, though. Never ending.
Yeah, we're gonna do. Are we gonna do a thingy show then?
World Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, might as well. Then. It'll be quite fun, won't it? I don't know how we're gonna sort of align it for the days. Probably have to do it round by round, but it's gonna be bloody tough to predict from the start. You just never know, do you?
We're on that, mate. I think we're getting right on it.
Might as well also go a month off.
Guys, all few of you.
We'll pick them back up. We'll get them back.
Honestly, and we appreciate every one of you.
We'll get them back. I'm going to start heckling people in my WhatsApp messages again now. Yeah. You're not escaping there.
Well, anyway, on to go back to the Leeds and Tottenham game. So I'm going to go with 2-2, Mealy. I think Leeds are getting something in this game, but they can't keep a clean sheet. They'll never keep a clean sheet, but they always look like scoring, Leeds. So 2-2.
This has been probably the toughest week that I've had to look at it. I mean, I didn't have much time to look at it anyway, but all these games are really tight, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah,
this week.
I'm looking at a minor tie. I've not gone with any runaway fixtures, really.
Not even your own team.
Do you know what? My own team's probably the biggest one of the lot.
Margin.
By that slighter margin, yeah.
I've gone there. It's really hard to say, so I don't know what mentality that team's going to be after his comments in the week. They could easily be thinking, well, we don't want him here if he's going to push us out the door, or whether they want out the club so they'll try and play for them. If it could go up in any kind of mindset at the moment.
What's madness is the fact that they can play like they did against City and then turn that
I texted you in the way, didn't I? It's the most Spursy thing you could ever do, isn't
know.
it? It almost reminded me of
When
Wolves
you
back in the
said
day.
when you said it as well, honestly, I was like, it's so right, it's so true. It is so true. It is so Spursy. That's the new word for I'm going to say it for everything. If there's ever a fuck up or a plain mess up of any sort, I'm going to say Spursy that.
Yeah. Well, when I was growing up, we was the Spurs of the Division 1 from when we used to do it.
Yeah,
But like,
to be honest,
we'd always,
it was. Yeah.
we'd always beat someone like Man City or Sunderland who used to romp the league, and then we're going to lose to Crewe the next week at home 1-0, or Grimsby or something like that. So.
When they were in that league, yeah.
Yeah, so
That was a demise, wasn't it? Paul?
yeah, if we become a more regular team, trying to challenge this Champions League spot, we're probably doing our own little bit of a name for ourselves there if we keep bottling it now. So or sitting back. So yeah, I've gone 2-1 Spurs. It is a really tough one. I mean, Leeds are in a bit of free fall, but then you should maybe be thinking that Leeds should really be capitalising on like what should be a down spirited Spurs team now. But just don't know. I think it's the fact that Conte is a winner, but he seems defeated in a weird way. So I'm going round and roundabouts there. He seems a bit defeated, and like he just wants out, and he's regretting taking that job.
Mourinho, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's so poison chalice. That I mean,
I'll tell you what, I don't think there's a job like it. By the looks of it,
it's probably one of the most secure under Pochettino, wasn't it? You know, and then ever since he's gone,
ever, literally ever. Honestly, I can think back in my time of loving football. So in 30 odd years, yeah, of me watching football, Pochettino to me has seemed the most stable, the best football they've played, the highest they've finished, the best football, that I've seen, just the best team they've acquired, and with a bit of an identity. You know what? And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, here's Spurs again.
I'm almost laughing to myself because even though he had all that, they still finished third in the 2-horse race. So, you know, going back to the Spurs here, I think.
Oh, poor Spurs. I'll tell you what, I whinge about being a United fan sometimes these days, but I'll tell you, I could be a Spurs fan. No offense, guys, but I'll tell you what, it must be.
We do feel a little bit sorry.
It must be heartbreaking. I'm not taking the piss neither. I'm just saying it must be, knowing how I feel as a United fan.
You either laugh or you cry.
I cry more, I think.
You are today because you got that thing in your elbow.
Yeah, that's what I'm crying for, yeah. I'm still crying about Arsenal winning.
For my tip for this game, I'm going both score now, Joe. I think even if Leeds win this game, both teams should be scoring in this because Leeds can't defend the coffee. So
yeah,
and Spurs just seem a bit unstable themselves at the moment. So both score now, Joe. It's got to be a given this one, I'm sure.
I think that's a fair given. I reckon you might be right. Right, on to the first of the 3 o'clock. So Brentford at home to Newcastle. So going off what we were saying before, this is where I'll make my decision finally. This weekend, I reckon. This weekend is fairly good fixtures for telling me who's going down. Honestly, I really do think that because you've got Crystal Palace at home to Burnley, right? And Burnley could get something there.
Yeah,
Massively.
definitely.
And you've got United at home to Watford, and what I just don't see it for Watford. But you've got obviously Brentford and Newcastle. Newcastle, if they take points there, you've got Southampton. Southampton, like I think, beat Norwich. It's just some mad games, and it's like Brentford and Norwich and Newcastle. Though this is probably the key down there.
Yeah, it could be the game of the weekend to an extent, depending on the mentality. They can't be frightened in this fixture. Brentford, they have to go for it, and they need to bring back the sort of hostility they had that first game of the season versus Arsenal, where Arsenal seemed like little kittens.
Yeah.
But whether that works on Newcastle now with the vibrancy they've got through picking up points here, there, and everywhere. You know, it's
I just still think they're going to be more of a force at home, Newcastle, with the support. You know, I still think.
Well, the support's good away though, isn't it? And I think they've got to treat every game as just an extra bonus, whether they think they're going to win it or not. And they should be looking at this one thinking we are going to win it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've gone with the Newcastle win. I've gone with 3-2.
I've gone 2-1 to Newcastle.
2-1.
What will be a feisty game. I've
You got
recommend
bookings over 45 booking points.
all three of them on this one. I've gone for the William Hill special that they have, which is the over 2.5 goals, over 10 corners, and over 3 bookings, so 4 bookings to win the bet. I think it'll be a feisty one. I think there'll be a lot of frustration on both ends. It's a smaller, compact stadium, so you should see a fair few corners, and then I think the goals are there as well. So
I think you're right. I think that could come in as well. I do. Yeah, you know that one, guys. That's coming in. Predicting it for you. Right, then let's shift over then. What about Brighton at home to Villa?
2 teams desperately out of form at the moment, aren't they?
I see a draw.
I've gone for Villa to win 1-0 on the basis that one of them's going to lose it, I think, and then again, where I've sort of predicted that the team go on a bit of a bad run, you probably see it with Brighton again there. The second time I've predicted that to happen to him, and unfortunately the first time it did happen, so it could happen again.
You're a jinx.
Leeds in 3-0 at home to Burnley, but it was a very makeshift defence, so I don't know. I'm not too sure on what they'll have back in their starting lineup for that game, but at the same time, even though Gerrard hasn't proved it as much as a manager as what Conte is, he is a natural born winner as a player. He needs to be it as a manager. And I think there's a lot of quality there still for Villa, even though they're probably not showing it as much at the moment. So, yeah, I think you'll see Villa pick up towards the end of the season. They'll get a bit more to shout about.
Yeah. The thing is, they've got a good side there, really. And I think they're just obviously going through a bit of a patch. I think consistency is always a big thing in football. And it's the teams who've got the consistency which end up winning the leagues. That's just the way it is, or are in the top 4. But you're always going to get inconsistency for teams in the mid-table. Hence why they're mid-table. So yeah, I just think it'll be a draw, 1 apiece. I think it'll be deadlocked, in my opinion. So what's your tip for this one then, Lee?
I think with 2 frustrated teams being on the pitch, this is the one where you're probably looking at 45 booking points. Probably desperate to try and get 3 points on the board. So
yeah,
expect a lot of kicking about. There is a fair few players on each side that are quite consistent at picking up yellow cards as well. So
that tidy Swiss footballer, Alicia Lehmann from Villa.
Who's that?
She plays for Villa Ladies.
The lady. I was trying to think of the men's player. Who's that?
Alicia Lehmann.
Yeah.
You know her?
I've heard the name, but I haven't looked too much into it. What's happened?
With that, what's he called in the middle of Douglas Luiz?
Oh yeah. But they need him.
No, they did together apparently. They said
okay.
Aston Villa romance there.
I thought he was on about replacing him in midfield, but
she could do.
Probably need him. Haven't seen nothing on that.
Actually, very good actually. I tell you what, sometimes you see some players and you think to yourself, women's football could be really, really good. But then you see other players and you're like,
some of them are really good, when I have watched them.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
Some are just like...
I think it's the goalkeepers that get the...
Yeah, the goalkeepers have
well, it has improved, to be fair. Like it used to be something you'd probably look and laugh at a little bit, but at the same time, it probably is hard because naturally women are smaller, aren't they? So probably is a bit hard to have a bit more commanding ability aerially for things like that. But especially on looping shots and stuff like that. I don't know entirely the rules of whether they lower the goals, but I probably doubt that they do for women's football. So
it's great to watch.
From a vertical angle. On the goal.
No, not at all. Honestly, he's good to watch.
Yeah, he is entertaining.
They're always like really entertaining games, aren't they? But obviously, I watch like 50% of games where you go, God blimey, I tell you what, these could give some men for the run for the money. And then you watch another 50% of games and go, what was I even thinking? But
well, they're a lot more ferocious than the men. I'll give them that because you get some of them flying there. I mean, I don't know what happened to Kieran Tierney earlier when we put across him, but he only kicked the ball against his foot. It's like someone had shot a missile into it. So. I'll give them the due on that.
Right, listen, let's move on. Crystal Palace at home to Burnley. So this is the one. This is the important game for me. This is the key to everything this weekend, in my opinion, down at the bottom end. Because Burnley, can they make it 3 in a row?
They could do.
This is a prime game for Crystal Palace because Crystal Palace have just won.
Quite comfortably as well.
Yeah, lumbering around in mid-table.
So I think they'd be complacent or carefree, which could be dangerous on either way, couldn't it? So.
Yeah, it could.
But I've gone for 1-1 in this one.
Oh, yeah.
So I think I got to sit on the fence with it a little bit by saying they're going to be dangerous either way. They're going to be complacent or carefree. It probably means that this won't happen, this result. But it's hard to predict, really hard to predict. Burnley usually try and sit out and try and catch something away from home, maybe off set plays or counter if they can get up as quickly as they can. I think Maxwell Cornet might be out again, which is a big miss for them in terms of getting up that pitch quicker.
Just like sick note.
People like that obviously just like it's easier to get up the pitch away from home, isn't it? You've got your outlet to go on the counter attack or something. Mm-hmm. You got Joint McNeil and that, but you need them on both sides, really. I think.
Yeah, definitely.
But they're trying to be used to set plays against Palace, so that I think. But I've gone for 1-1. And double chances the tip for Burnley. So a draw or a win for Burnley would win you a bet there.
Double chance. Yeah, I think 2-1 Burnley. Go on the Burnley.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting. I think it'll shape it up very nicely for a bit of a run in. If Burnley win this one, it could pull Everton and Leeds and maybe even Villa if they lose into a bit of a...
You know what? Everton, Leeds, potentially Villa and Brentford are really,
of course, yeah.
Could be in trouble.
That's how I think Villa will be all right for a lot of people. They might just be looking over their shoulders. It's a little nervously at the moment, but I think they'll be all right as soon as that comes around. They'll pick up a bit of form there.
If Newcastle, Tottenham, Brighton, I don't know, say Watford.
Watford are gone.
Yeah, I think so too. City, you know? Oh, well, anyway, we're going on to that soon. Double chance. Who? Double chance Burnley.
For Burnley, yeah. So a draw or win for Burnley would win you the bet there.
Double chance Burnley. Right, ideal. So the last of the 3 o'clock kickoffs is my struggling Manchester United at home to Watford, where I don't think we'll struggle so much this weekend.
You shouldn't do, but God, if you lose this one, then I think Arsenal will probably have the right to it.
It all went pear-shaped last time, the Watford game. This is where you'll see whether we've made any kind of improvement.
Well, yeah, they'll be batting out for that revenge now, won't they? For that defeat, really bad. Rhythm
is a dancer. I'm sitting here.
You're You've gone nicely onto my tip there. He's my tip for that game to score a goal.
Play this kid at the minute. You can't not play him.
Yeah, I mean, he's showing I think even Maniac's mentioned it, hasn't he? He's saying, like, look at his attitude, he's no big time Charlie. He's just come in, worked hard, and shown a bit of quality with it as well. And he looked good against us last season. He looked,
he did.
He was playing a makeshift team in that game, but it's still quite dangerous with him in there. Like, we hadn't heard of half the players. And
you know what? Who's the next one? I reckon they're going to be bringing Hannibal in soon. He's been on the bench a few times lately. You watch this. Honestly, man, everybody's going to be talking about him.
They're going to bring him on in a perplex block with his mask on.
He played against you, didn't he?
I think he might have come on, yeah. I think he did.
He came on briefly, Hannibal Medjbury. Honestly, this kid's wicked. He's gonna be mint. Honestly, he chose did he choose Turkey? He chose Turkey, didn't he?
Did they?
Yeah, I think we're at Turkey.
It's Christmas dinner.
Oh, Tunisia. Sorry, I'm lying. Tunisia, because that's who we were playing for in the African Cup of Nations, I think.
Oh, I didn't realise. I thought they had him down as Belgium or something. Oh, I don't know, but.
Well, no, that is French actually.
Oh, is it?
So he's got French and is it Tunisia or Morocco? It's one of the two.
It's almost as bad as you. I don't even know what you are now.
Honestly, I might be just swinging everything with jaws. But I think it might be Morocco actually. Let me get my facts right before.
I say it's almost as bad as you, mate. I don't even know what you are.
You don't even know where I am. Breed.
Yeah, he's not going to be another Tati Chong, is there? Where all the hype's around him and just drop off.
No. Do you know what, mate? I think I was right first time. Swear, is it one sec? It's not Morocco, so I presume it is Tunisia. One sec. Tunisia. Yeah, Tunisia.
Tunisia.
Just go with your original thoughts. I say that to everybody. Just go with your first thought. Go with your first instinct. And then I need practice what I preach a bit.
He's gone with his first instinct. He's just get to the quickest tournament he can get to, which is the African Cup of Nations. Did he go to the African Cup or?
Yeah.
He did. Oh, I don't know.
Good player, mate. Honestly, you watch him go. So anyway, beside that, I'm going with 3-1 United here.
2-0 I've gone United.
Oh, you're giving
and Elanga to score the tip. I think he might. That would give him the world of confidence going against a good team like Athletic.
Oh, mate, going against Atletico Madrid. And I tell you what, when United were poor, just in general, played better second half, but Ranieri's, honestly, he's making these big calls at the right time. It doesn't matter what anyone says about him. And everyone's slating, oh, United did rubbish and blah, blah, blah. Top and the bottom of it, he's lost one match. One.
To the mighty Wolves.
One match. So, bar City and maybe Liverpool, who's been better than that since he's taken charge?
Wolves.
No, I don't think you have.
We was until we lost today, I think.
I think if you look at points taken in that time, since Ranieri's been in charge, I think we've probably taken more points than you. Because we were struggling, don't forget, as well. You were struggling, but we were struggling as well. And we were always only about 3 points ahead of you. And we were, 6 ahead of you? 7, maybe? 5?
No, I don't think it's that much. I don't know. But I don't know. It'd be tight. I don't think it'll be miles apart, but I think it'd be tight. We've had, apart from the Arsenal defeats, we've won pretty much every game. So I don't know. I couldn't say, mate. I ain't going to look on my phone there, but I'll end up taking up screen time. But yeah, it'd be something to look into.
Anthony Elanga to score. So on to the 5:30 on Saturday, which is Everton at home to Manchester City. So Frankie Boy is hosting his last team. Well, second to last team.
Technically, last Premier League team as well. I think he went back to New York and then retired. I think.
That's right,
Well, he seems like his teams are playing better at home, but when you're coming up against City, it's going to be interesting to see how he approaches the game. I know City have obviously lost last week, but you usually trigger a reaction out of them, don't you? I suppose since they've won a couple of more Premier League trophies, you usually get a reaction out of them. Where you're probably going back to the old typical City that used to like leave it to the last day and make everyone panic.
Yeah.
Still got that winning mentality in that team, so I can't see nothing other than a City win here.
What are you saying then?
3-1 City.
Oh, we're going with big gun 3-1. Well, I'm going with 2-1. And I'm going with 2-1. I changed this one twice. And that's unheard of for me. I never go back on it. I started off, I went 2-1 City. And then I went
draw.
So I was looking at something and it came up with the league table with Liverpool 3 points behind City. And I was like,
just panicking a bit here.
So I went 1-1. And then I was like, no, 2-1 City. And I come back to it. I was like, there's not a chance. I just don't see it. There's nothing that I've seen in Everton at all at any stage this season which has made me think.
Yeah, they're going to give the big boys a run for the money.
Yeah.
I think they're just a bit too easy to get something against at the moment. I know that a little bit of a new manager Benson at home. They have had a better results at home, but their away forms are horrific. Even under Lampard, they haven't got nothing out of that.
They've spent £500 million, and they've still got Salomon Rondon.
Yeah.
£500 million. And the best,
you can blame Benitez
the best players they got were almost free. Damari Gray and Townsend.
Yeah, well,
£500 million. And Seamus Coleman still at right back.
Probably.
Wow, honestly, this is where it's at for Everton. Where's that money gone? Obviously, Sigurdsson. Don't want to talk too much about it. Bit of a touchy subject, that one, isn't it? So anyway,
he was probably putting the more input than anyone that in terms of footballing terms, obviously.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Lead balloon that. Yeah, most of them. I mean, like you look at them, it's just like it's just a waste. I mean, like the Doucouré has his little traits about him, but he also just like you think. I don't know. He just don't really seem to change much of them in there. Alan runs around a lot and maybe sticks in the odd challenge.
I feel sorry for Doucouré in that team, I must admit, because he must have thought, I'm really progressing here from Watford. You know, I'm going to a better team. They're looking promising and blah, blah. They fight him relegation.
Yeah, so some players have that, don't they? They just bring it along with them, don't they? So,
yeah.
I mean, Richarlison for me is Calvert-Lewin ain't really been in great form since he come back. But...
You know what? I never used to rate Calvert-Lewin, and then he had a mad season, and I was like, he's looking good. And then he's just
since he's come back.
I remember Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, Richarlison's probably the only one where you put him in a team that like dominates a bit more, than he'll have the quality to improve them. But other than that, I don't know. Just they need even though as bad as it's saying with all the money they spent, they need another overhaul either because they're not far off.
I just from front to back, Mason Holgate, and if you want him, Michael Keane, I ain't being funny. They're good defenders, pair of them, they're solid enough. But if you're wanting any kind of aspirations in the Premier League, you can't be having them as your centre half. And Seamus Coleman, man. He used to be a really good right back. I used to rate him years ago. That was like 25 years ago. It feels like.
I don't know, though, isn't it? Like his age to go up and down, and he actually scored last week. I think he scored last week, didn't he? Not a bad finish.
Remember him being like key man in Thingy's team when he in Moyes' team.
Yeah, he was a really good attacking fullback. But I think it is a bit harder these days because he's got to look after a pretty poor defence on top of that as well to get back there. And then once on the attack, he's got to be down there as well. So for his age, it's quite asking, to be honest. But
do you know what's really annoying? You look at it and Everton's defence is from all across the back. It's awful. It's not good.
Mina's not as good as
It's not
what
good,
people
and it's
make
going
it.
to get caught out, and it's slow, and it's not very inept. But I think in general, you look at the midfield line and you're like, why is this team struggling? You do, don't you? Alan, I'm not keen on him. I've never been really a big fan of Alan, but I rate some of the other midfielders they've got. Obviously, Townsend and Damari Gray, but they're confidence players. If everything's going great, they're going to play brilliant. And then you've got Gomez. I rate him as well. Andre Gomez, a good player.
I think they've got the same problem as Wolves in the middle, that they're just maybe not creative enough, but unlocking teams in the centre, like in terms of actually driving at the defence.
Yeah.
Seem to be like parked back a little bit and hope that the wingers do something and then get it into the strikers. But I think they have the same problem as us with them, and it's probably where Sigurdsson has been missing, because he'd sort of usually bang on the edge of that box or get in there, wouldn't he? So
yeah, definitely.
It's just, I don't know, I think they sort of had that same problem there, and they need to think of a bit more of a creative output, because in reserve to that, you've got Fabian Delph, who probably plays even further back than the rest of them. So
this is a problem. You've got to go into squad depth, and injuries are inevitable. People can't perform every single game. You've got to be able to change it up. If your team's not performing, you've got to be able to make a change and go, right, well, this ain't working. You're going to have a few weeks on the bench, or at least a week on the bench. You know, we just want to try this a little bit and change it up. But if you can't change it up, what you change it up to? You know, and it's like, doesn't work. And I just feel really sorry for him, because they've had all these managers with all these ideas. They've all been different, just completely different, just really.
Almost as poisonous as Spurs, isn't it?
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, another one, exactly the same. I'd say them are the worst two jobs for that in the Premier League.
Yeah, because they just spent shitloads on bang average
And
players. United, yeah, they're sort of like them, but they're still up there a little bit, aren't they? So I think they get away with that. But also with Spurs to an extent, but it's just like you have all these world-class managers in, and they can't change it because there's too much baggage to carry about with you. So
it's baggage.
It's not good for them. It's not good.
No.
My tip for this game, I'm going for over 9.5 corners. I think City will be pummeling them attacking wise. I think Everton will have the other opportunity to get up there and win a few corners themselves, but City will be hanging around that goal, I think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like 46 shots fodder.
More than likely. Not 4
shots fodder and score 3.
4 to 6 for Everton, and they might nick one.
Yeah, literally. 2 of them as corners. Right, so anyway, on to the only game in the Premier League, first of all, should I add, on the Sunday at 2 o'clock, which is West Ham at home to your boys Wolves. 2 quick succession games, these, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be hanging around the capital for a few days now. Got to try and find our heads after a late defeat. It's never easy to keep the momentum going after a late defeat. Just got to freshen our minds up, but at the same time, I haven't really been that impressed with West Ham recently. I think they're faltering a little bit.
I agree. I'm hoping Wolves are going to do us a big favour here as well. Because the thing is, the more you eliminate any of these round us, you've had a fair tough run in here. Arsenal, West Ham.
We've done well to come through, and apart from the Arsenal games, done well to win most of them. So hopefully we can keep our positive mentality. We just got to take it game by game, I suppose. But you know, no one expects us to get Champions League. Why put that pressure on ourselves? That's what's frustrated me about today. Like sitting back now, just go for it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You can't just keep sitting back against teams like that. You're never going to get anything.
That was crazy. It was so frustrating because I could see it coming as soon as they brought Pepe on as well. It was like,
yeah, every time I want it,
he never plays a blinder, but today he's going to have that game, and he did. I just thought, I could see it just how it all switched around, and Pepe's come on, Saka's over on the left, and you know, Martinelli coming off because he had a bit of a shocker anyway, and. But yeah,
I'll tell you how bad being a Wolves fan affects me. Like every time a team makes a substitution, even if Southampton bring on Shane Long these days, I'm like, oh, he always scores against us. He never scores against anyone else. He always scores against us. I always have that mentality when they bring on the sub. I'm like, he's going to score. He's going to score.
You need to stop doing that. It's not good for you.
That'd be a good bet.
Close your eyes, and the substitute will be close your eyes.
That'd be a good bet. In game, wait for the substitution and wait for that striker to come on, and they'll score against them.
That's your best tip. Yeah, definitely. So go on. I'm saying 1-1 for this.
Yeah, I've gone 1-1.
Yeah, we agreed. Better Leroy.
It's a tough one to actually. I've just gone for a really random one, but there might be a penalty in the game. I don't think I've seen many tie games recently, so not off the top of my head.
There hasn't been too many penalties lately.
No, it has seemed to have dried up. So for being the Super Sunday game, we're on TV. You probably usually get one, don't you, with the televised games. So we'll go for that penalty in the match. Okay. Hopefully to Wolves.
Yeah, hopefully to Wolves. Well, I'm hoping they'll win, but I'll take a draw. And I think Wolves will take a draw away at West Ham. So, right then. So the 16:30, which is 4:30 kickoff. The final of the EFL Cup, we'll touch on this. Chelsea and Liverpool.
Oh, don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, sometimes there's usually like a little bit of an underdog versus the major favourites, isn't there? That's been in recent years, especially for this cup. And obviously, she's been City in that final the last few years, so obviously everyone will see them as favourites. But this one's really two really tight teams. I've gone for Chelsea on the basis that it's a bit more in their nature to win these type of cups, I think. But obviously, you can never count out Liverpool. They're really dangerous on the attack. But Chelsea's, Thiago Silva at his age is proving to be a great signing. So.
Oh, he's been brilliant.
Yeah, I think their defence will know the roles against Liverpool and probably try and hold them out. I think it'll be a really tight game, 1 goal in it. I've gone for 1-0 Chelsea in this.
You cannot say Liverpool are not going to score. They look like scoring tons of goals now. Honestly, this Luis Diaz, is it?
Yeah.
Oh man, honestly, he's brought some fire to Liverpool. He has, and I tell you what, it's sickening. It sickens me to my stomach to see how well they've actually started playing. But the big test was the Africa Cup of Nations, and to be honest, they've absolutely smashed it. And looking at that table, 3 points behind now, level on games, with City to play.
Be interesting to see.
This is going down to the wire, top and bottom, mate. Honestly, this is going to be like way more interesting than when Liverpool and City flew away with it that year. This one's going to be good because it was so far away. City were 15 points ahead of people at one stage.
Yeah. Well, these games seem to have brought a little bit of reality back to it now, haven't they? These games in hand, and that's a bit more reality to the situation. That's what we want. We want everything that's on offer to be up for grabs. Often mid-table, we don't care about that. But some teams, it's major, isn't it? Like teams like Brighton and that, to get more of income for finishing higher in the league, and Burnley for when they've done it. But, it really helps them out. I don't know. I think if Chelsea nick an early goal, I think probably see it like they have done, like Wolves have done today, trying to hold on. Probably would hold out, but it's going to be a tough ask. I think it's a bit of a risky one for me to say that. So hopefully it is about 3-3. We won a good, entertaining end-to-end final.
Absolutely. But
you don't get many of them.
Liverpool.
Interesting. We'll see. Hopefully we on your prediction because we want to see the goals and that. So, I say it's very rare you see an end-to-end final these days.
Goals. Honestly, I'm thinking about loads of these Chelsea and Liverpool games. There's always goals. It's always goals. Yeah. Always goals.
We'll see how it goes.
Liverpool are well up for it. Honestly, I didn't think I'd be saying it now. Honestly, I'm eating my own words big time because I just didn't see it. I turned around and went, City are walking it now, walking away with it. I
Maybe not.
think Liverpool could actually win it now.
Well, like you say, with the attacking, is Diaz eligible for the Carabao Cup? I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
I don't know whether later signings can go in, but
nah, you don't have to register them like that.
I'm not too sure. I'm sure like something's happened in Carabao Cups where certain players have missed out. I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. But
Doesn't matter if they're in or not. That team's flying.
but Jota's been missing the last few as well, hasn't he? I think. Whether he'll be
flying.
Yeah, he'll probably come flying back in himself and scoring
Yeah,
then.
I'll tell you what, it takes a lot of opportunities to score a goal, though.
Yeah, and that's maybe one thing that'll go against them. But it's a cup final, though, as I say, the old cliche, anything can happen. So
anything can happen. I'm going with 2-1 Liverpool then, mate, yeah.
I've gone 1-0 Chelsea. I can't really think of much at all. I mean, you could probably go corners in this one. Usually you see a lot of corners in finals. But just because of Chelsea's prowess in winning trophies, I think in recent years, maybe them to lift the trophy would be an interesting one to look at. It is on the betting pages when you go on it, you click on the match and then there is so basically Chelsea, if they didn't win in normal times, they won on penalties or something, then for them to win the trophy there'd be that option on there. So you don't lose the match in normal time if it's a 0-0.
Do you want my bet?
Go on.
Jordan Henderson to score.
Ooh. You get some good odds on that. I bet you'll get about 20-1 for him to score any time in that game, never mind.
I had this picture in my head.
He scored wonder goal against them a few years ago, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why not? I mean, sometimes you get, Ray Parlour did it, why can't Jordan Henderson do it?
And the thing is, someone like Henderson's got to be featuring, hasn't he?
Yeah, I'd imagine so. He's the captain, isn't he? He's got to be leaving them out, yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah. Well, that concludes our run of fixtures. So, it's been great. It's been lovely. Thanks, Leroy. Nice to see you, mate.
And you, mate. We cover that all.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be a long night. So, but we'll be back again because with the next, we're coming back earlier, don't forget, next week. Because we've got plenty of games in the week. I think it's like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday football. Premier League.
It's like the pandemic again.
Oh, yeah.
The game every day.
So, yeah, we'll probably be a Tuesday league. So
just trying to think. There's that many games that have just been fluttered about, but I'll be there, so I'll make sure I'm there.
And we'll get that up and out on Wednesday in time for first football match, I suppose. So, thanks for watching. If you've watched, please like, share, and subscribe, and click the bell button to keep up to date with all our latest content. Thanks again, and hope you find the tips useful, and hope you win some money. And as we say all the time, don't go through the list and go, boom, I'm putting them all on. Well, you could do, but you probably ain't going to win. To be honest, you ain't going to win.
Your free holiday if you do it.
Yeah.
Your £5 holiday.
So pick some out which you fancy, and bet responsibly. We're not kind of telling you how much to put on. Just bet responsibly, and hopefully you do well. So anyway, thanks guys. Nice to see everybody. Nice to see you, Lee, and we'll see you again middle of next week. Take care.
See you later.
Yes.